Hello everybody and welcome to this impromptu patch video. So obviously those of you who have been keeping up to date on the Discord will know that there was a promised emergency patch. It is just addressing the Razorback and the Shade, which is obviously the two most broken units in the game. They've been dominating the competitive scene and the high tier play completely. These things, both of these units were just way too good. The Shade, I think, is whole magnitudes more powerful than the Razorback, but the Razorback deck is very, very good. The Razorback deck is arguably better than the Shade deck. Anyway, these two decks have been absolutely dominant. They're way too strong, and we finally got a nerf to them. Um, there is another patch coming soon. As you see at the top, it says part of our balance update for February, March. So there should be another patch reasonably soon. I have no idea when, but this is simply a priority fix for these two units because it's been so long that they've been absolutely dominant. So they decided they would release an early fix to just these two units. So let's take a look at what they've done. So first of all, we've got the Razorback vehicle damage. It says vehicle damage to minus 40%. I assume what they mean is vehicle damage has been reduced by 40%. So vehicle damage has gone to 60%. Obviously, this is a great change. The Razorback is a dominant force in the metagame, and it just kills infantry, and then it randomly also deals with vehicles quite well. Razorback could beat a buggy 1v1, despite being an anti-infantry specialist and a buggy being an anti-air unit. So it was pretty disgusting. This is a good change. Doesn't feel I played both these units a little bit since the change. I'm not 100% sure yet because it has been such a short time since the change. So I'm not completely confident in my appraisal of them. But the Razorback vehicle damage is reduced. The move speed has gone from faster to fast, which is a pretty significant nerf. This one actually does. This is very noticeable. The Razorback is a lot slower now. It's a lot easier to catch. You can see in the footage in the background the Razorback comparison, the old Razorback compared to the new Razorback in terms of speed. It is a lot easier to catch now with things like bikes and stealth tanks. Stealth tanks especially are a lot better versus the Razorback now. So this is a pretty big change. And they say Razorback has proven to be dominant due to its ability to move in and out of combat. This change makes it easier for the counter units to hunt it down while bringing its vehicle damage to an optimum level. I assume they mean this change makes it easier, but it's a minor typo, we'll let them have that. I think calling the vehicle damage optimum is not a great choice here, because now if they change it again, it doesn't make sense because they've already said it's the optimum level. But whatever. Again, semantics. It's just the wording. It is a big change. Speed is one of the most important attributes on any unit. Scavengers, as you all know, used to be extremely powerful. They got a speed nerf, and now they are basically in the dumpster. That's pretty much all that happened to scavengers. To take them from too good to complete garbage was just that speed nerf. I don't think it's enough of a nerf yet. But it now it's less of a dominating force on the battlefield. It's still roughly the same when you hover it above missiles, which is the main strategy with the Razorback. That has not changed dramatically, but now the Razorback is a lot worse at pushing out of that concave and hunting down infantry on other parts of the map, which means it's a lot worse when the missile's about to fire. You can't just send it over to a third pad to clean up. It does that a lot worse than it used to. But in terms of creating a GDI fortress in a single location, it still provides the same role. It still does that job pretty much just as well, and it's still very hard to get through a wall of missile troopers when it's hovering above them. But when it comes time for it to split up or go somewhere else, it's significantly weaker now than it used to be. So it is a great change. We might need to see more changes in the future, but this is a really good start. And hope, like I said, hopefully we're going to get another patch reasonably soon, and then maybe these units will be further addressed. Okay, let's talk about the Shade quickly. So the Shade has got some more significant changes. This thing was absolutely broken. So the health has dropped by 100 hit points. This is not the most significant health nerf, but it does bring it closer to being in line with other air units, such as the Banshee and the Venom, both of which have 12-10 hit points, I believe. So for some reason, it has an extra 13 hit points. 23 hit points on the Orca and the Banshee and the Venom. I don't know why. It's a very odd number of extra hit points to have. but it is much more in line with those units now. It'll go down to sort of 2 bite volleys. It obviously still gets one shot by the Phantom. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much this hit point nerf matters, but, you know, Shade was too good, so any nerfs are good. The cost has gone from 40 to 60. This is the change most people were asking for. Originally, it cost 60, according to NIVMet. So, the stats, when it was released, were more in line with the idea of it being 60, I believe. Probably some crossed wires there. Now it does cost 60, so, you know, good change. So they've also reduced the reload speed by 2 seconds and the stealth mode by 2 seconds. These are both colossal nerfs. As you can hopefully see in the video behind, you can see Shade, old Shade versus new Shade in terms of reload speed. It's a big difference. So yeah, that plus the hit point nerf and the cost nerf is a fairly significant change. The unit, I think, is still too strong, having played it. At equal levels, it's still too strong, but it no longer dominates at underleveled. It used to be that you could play a -2 or a -3 Shade on ladder, or even up to -5, and it would still be a reasonably effective unit. Those days are gone. This thing does not perform well massively underleveled anymore, which obviously it shouldn't. Like, your unit has to be completely broken to be working underleveled. And also the structure damage has been reduced, which reduces the ability to just throw shades at a base, which was also really very stupid. That's also a really good change. So overall, quite significant nerfs to the Shade. All of them were required, I think. I actually think the unit needs more nerfs. I think it's still better than an Orca and costs less. Its damage is comparable to an Orca, and it still has better reload speed, better cost, and stealth. So, and slightly more hit points. It still randomly has a few extra hit points. So I think this thing is still too good, but it's no longer completely disgusting. It's no longer like obviously egregiously broken. When you play against it or with it, it's not just like free wins left, right, and center, but it is still extremely powerful. It's probably going to need more nerfs, and obviously one of the most important things now is you can't just spam shades anymore. The fact they cost 60, they're actually prohibitively expensive now. If you can't throw them out there and lose them like you used to be able to do, you actually do have to micro them now and keep them alive to get value out of them. So yeah, really good changes overall. Probably not enough, but given how long it's been since we had any changes, I'm excited to have any at all. And these are both at least in the right direction. So yeah, in summary, the Shade and Razorback both got pretty significant nerfs. The Shade got much more significant nerfs. My take on it is that they are both still too good, but they're a lot closer now. They're a lot more in line with other units. The Razorback, I think, we need to find something else to do to it. I'm not sure what. Maybe simply a reduction in DPS is where we need to go from here. The Shade, maybe even more cost increase, and maybe reload speed increase. I think the Shade is still too strong, but it's definitely a lot weaker than it was. So good changes. We're in the right direction. Probably need to go further. But yeah, thought I'd just bring you my take on it and show you, hopefully, the comparison between old Razorback and new Razorback and old Shade and new Shade.